Welcome and welcome back to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Tommy, just Tommy, and with today's video, Avowed is now capable of running at 60 frames on the Xbox Series X, but it'll come with a little bit of jank here, says the developers, so let's jump right into it, shall we?
I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better! I am better!
Avowed is now capable of running at 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X, but will have jank at launch. Expect some jank, the game's director says. Microsoft's next big game, the RPG Avowed, from the Outer Worlds developer Obsidian, is capable of running at 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X, game director Kerry Patel has confirmed. Patel said on the MinMax podcast, you can get up to 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X. The use of "can" here might indicate an alternative graphics mode that prioritizes image quality over frame rate, but we don't know for sure as of yet. The frame rate reaching 60 FPS on the Series X is newsworthy, in part because Obsidian previously said the game was only capable of reaching 30 FPS on the Xbox Series X. Obsidian said this decision was made early on in development of the game and has allowed the studio to get a lot juicier with visual effects. Things have changed since then, though, and Avowed can now run at a higher frame rate on the Series X. Wonder how we did that. Patel also told fans to expect some amount of bugs and issues. You gotta accept a little jank to do something fun and creative, I think, Patel said. Avowed was previously set for release at the end of 2024, was delayed until February, but it wasn't not due to quality, so the game officially launches and blah, blah, blah with a 90 premium, blah, blah, blah. So all of that said, the concerning part that I have is, what do we mean by jank? You get what I'm saying? It says here, Patel also told fans to expect some amount of bugs and issues. That's, of course, what comes with video games. When they're released, you're going to have a certain amount of bugs and issues. Is it going to be a mess like Starfield was? Is it going to be a buggy mess like Cyberpunk was when it first launched? These are the things that I'd like to really understand and know. And like I said, I need to know what a little jank is. What do we mean by this? You gotta accept a little jank to do something fun and creative. I don't really know what that means. And as consumers, not to sound, harsh, but no, we don't, especially when we're paying for it. And I understand this is being put into Game Pass day one, which I'll end up playing, of course, because I have Game Pass. But no, for the premium price point that we're paying, no, we don't have to accept jank, and we shouldn't have to for that reason. For the amount of, how much games cost now, because of how expensive they've become to develop, no, there shouldn't be a level of acceptance that us as consumers and gamers should have to accept. That's like saying Ubisoft saying we should just learn to understand that we don't own anything, or we're not going to own any games, or be comfortable with knowing that. No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't at all. We shouldn't have to deal with jank. But I'd like to know what that means, what the terminology is, because that's a very vague term. So this kind of makes me a little concerned. I thought Avowed looked really awesome in its presentations. The gameplay looks pretty interesting as well to me. But now I'm really concerned. This is a red flag that goes up for me when a game developer says, you guys, hey, I'm just preparing you. It's not going to be perfect, essentially, is what they're saying. This is concerning. I need to know what jank means, what their terminology of jank actually means. But I think this is kind of what's happening here. Way back when Phil Spencer, with the whole Redfall situation, when they were like, hey, this is on us. This is our fault. Redfall released in this state, and it's because we weren't basically paying attention to the studios. It's like, how they say the terminology, the TV, when I was growing up, the TV used to be the babysitter for the kids. Nowadays, it's like the iPad is the babysitter for the kids. It's kind of what I feel Microsoft did when they bought these studios. They were just like, well, we bought them. You guys do your own thing. We're not going to pay attention. And then when we do pay attention, oh crap, we got a forest fire here. What happened? What is going on? I think from that point, Microsoft hopefully are now holding their developers feet to the flames a little bit and saying, hey man, really get to learn this hardware that we have here, because you can achieve this, the frame rates on this hardware. If you can achieve it on the PlayStation 5 base, you should have no problem achieving it here on your home, hardware that we create. So it's kind of like maybe they're holding their developers' feet to the fire, expecting more, kind of like what Sony does with their developers. There's a certain level of quality where it's like, you better bring this, otherwise you better bring your A game, otherwise there's going to be hell to pay, basically. That's how Sony treats their developers, and I think that's kind of how Microsoft and Xbox should start treating their development team. Not that they're not doing a great job, but it's like there's a level of acceptance that they should have, a level of quality that they should hold all of their developers to, especially if they're hinging their business on subscriptions and purchasing of the game. If Avowed ends up going to PS5, do you think people are going to accept jank having to pay $70 or more for the game over there, full price? I don't think so. So that's my biggest thing, is I just don't know what this is. But I did see an interview. There's a little clip all over TikTok and X where there was someone, I don't know if it was the same podcast, but there was someone interviewing Carrie Patel, is that her name? Where they kind of tricked her up, which was kind of slimy on their part. I kind of didn't like that. I think that they didn't do that well. They kind of tricked her a bit when they were like, well, it's obviously coming to PS5. And she was like, yeah, and she kind of caught herself, but kind of gave it away. So I would imagine, yes, Avowed's going to be on PS5, maybe not day and date, but it'll definitely be PS5 this year, I believe. And if I'm predicting it, if it's not day and date, I would say Avowed is probably going to end up on the PS5 around the summertime, maybe into the fall, I would imagine. But yeah, I don't like this agenda that's being pushed that we should accept jank. I don't like that. But that's kind of my thoughts on the whole situation. You guys let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Make sure you follow the channel, subscribe to it. If you like the video, hit me with a like on this video. And there's a follow the social medias. There's a link down in the description. You can follow me on all the other social media sites and whatnot there. But as always, it has been your boy. It's been real. And I am out. Later.